Welcome to the Bogart Effect, a wealthy wisdom podcast. Please see important disclosure information at the end of the presentation. It is. And so when we talk about quantification of risk, it's extremely important to align your financial plan, your investment portfolio structure with said risk profile.
100%. Because if you think about it, some folks don't have the time. And it could be, and it's even within themselves, they could have different buckets. You talk about buying a home, all sorts of different time horizons for different sets of funds. As you allocate money within a balance sheet, every bucket effectively has a timeline, has a purpose, and you need to have investments, allocated appropriately, because if you're going to buy a home, let's say 6 months from now, and you're just in the S&P 500, there's a pretty good chance that the S&P could move lower, it could move up. I mean, we don't know in such a short time horizon. So are you willing to jeopardize the opportunity to buy a home if, let's say, the S&P fell? And for some folks, I'd say they may not really quantify and go back, let's say I have $1 million in cash. Well, if the S&P were to take kind of a pullback, or broader markets in general, you could be talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars you're not able to bring to the table anymore that you otherwise might have.
And I want to build off of that. That is the description of what someone would not understand the risk that they're taking, right? Like, again, that's the reason for doing this podcast today. Yep. It's like, alignment is very, very important. And when we think about like the implications of the decisions that we're making, that's why I believe the true value proposition of any advisor has to be integration of financial planning with the investments, add-on tax, right? Like there's nuances in addition to the value proposition, but the reality of it is a plan has to integrate with the investment strategy. And you articulated it so well, and why that plan. The previous podcast was intended for general information purposes only. The information discussed is no substitute for personalized investment advice from Bogart or another investment professional. Different types of investments involve varying degrees of risk, and it should not be assumed that the future performance of any specific investment, strategy, or service will be profitable, suitable, or successful. Bogart is not a law firm or accounting firm, and no portion of its services should be construed as legal or accounting advice. There is no guarantee a client will experience a certain level of results if Bogart is engaged. Our brochure describing services and fees can be found at www.bogartwealth.com.